Hey everyone, this is Ruth with Coaching Wisdom this morning, and just coming to you because I've had some thoughts about what it means to hold space for someone. And I just wanted to share that with you. If you're catching me live, you'll see the little red icon at the top of the page, and you can comment so that I know that you're here. If you don't see that, then you're on replay, and just type in hashtag replay to let me know you've been here. It always helps me to know when people pop in to say hello. So, this past weekend, I did a thing, and it was scary and a little bit courageous and a little bit out of the box. And I posted both on my public page and in my Wisdom Weavers group about some really vulnerable things about the mother daughter relationship and aha moments that took me to the core of why things were happening the way they were today. After I posted, as most people do, hi Rihanna, as most people do when they post something or share something, either face to face, in public, on social media, our immediate feeling is that we want to share. The secondary feeling that comes is that we feel shame, we feel fear, and we feel vulnerable. And you just want to go crawl under a rock, which did happen to me after my Saturday post. But I didn't. I sat with it because I knew that this can happen. And after sitting with it for about 24 hours, I had another aha moment and decided to talk about the topic again. So once again, I put myself out there. What I noticed about that is that there were some people who were able to respond, some people who wanted to comfort me, thinking that I was in pain or that I was suffering. Some people just went silent because the topic I talked about was something that we don't usually talk about. It was the sacred space where mothers and daughters relate to one another. And it can be very conflicted, it can be very difficult. The mother daughter relationship is a sacred relationship, and it's a bond that's so strong, whether it's a good relationship, a difficult one, a joyful one, a sad one, a painful one. So that's what I talked about. And it got me to thinking, how do we hold space for one another? And what is that? In my coach training program, Coaching Wisdom, I talk about holding space, and that's a component of what you do when you coach. Coaching isn't therapy, so we are not going backward in time and we're not pulling up trauma necessarily. Sometimes some things will come up, but mostly with coaching, it's about looking at where you are today and going forward. So the person that you coach has to be willing to sit with today and to say, I'm going to make some different choices and I need some steps to go forward. And the coach walks with the person along that path for a period of about 6 to 12 weeks, because that's what it kind of takes for transformation to happen. We don't want transformation, complete transformation, to happen overnight because it turns our lives upside down. And so, with that process, we can walk with our clients and help them through that. Which brings me back to holding space. So, holding space is a big part of the coaching process. When we hold space for someone else, what we're telling them is it's safe. You can be, say, do anything you want to in here in this space with respect, with love for yourself if you can. And when we hold space for one another, we are just bearing witness to their experience. So, a long time ago, I went to a conference, and there was a speaker who said one thing that I never forgot. And she said, her name was Laura Van Dernoot Lipsky, actually, and she wrote the book Trauma Stewardship. And she talks a lot about how we help to steward trauma of other people in their lives. I think that she was an emergency medical person. And what she talked about was that people don't want us to get rid of their pain. People don't want us to fix anything. Everybody out there has their own wisdom. Everybody has their own wisdom, their own tried and true ways that they function. They know what works for them, and they're not sure why something else might not be working, but they certainly don't need us to tell them how to live their lives or what to do. So, trauma stewardship talked about how really what people want is for us to hold space for them. So, how do we hold space? We bear witness to what their experience is. And when we know that someone else is bearing witness to our experience, something happens and we blossom and we take a sigh of relief and we realize we're not alone. And that's what coaches do for their clients. They hold space. That's what friends do if they can. This is a tough one. Holding space is tough because we immediately want to go fix it, especially if it's somebody that we love who is sharing something that's quite painful or that they're confused about. We want to give advice. We want to fix it, change it, make it right, because it makes us uncomfortable to witness that. So when we think about that, when we go to comfort somebody, trying to fix whatever it is that they're sharing with us, really what we're trying to do is to make ourselves less uncomfortable because it's uncomfortable to witness someone else's suffering. But what happens if we sit with the discomfort? What happens if we just sit with it and we stay present with that person? And what if we admit to that person that we don't know what they're going through, that we don't understand, but we're here? And what if we just make it okay for them to be who they are, to share what they're feeling, and to listen? Just listen. That's what holding space is. So we create a place that's safe, kind of encircle them with safety so that they can share their human experience. We can ask, can I share my experience with you if we think it might be helpful? But so often we just jump in and say, well, that's not how it happens for me, or this is what works for me. And that's not helpful. Not when somebody is sharing their heart and their soul, not when somebody is sharing their pain, their confusion. It's not always helpful for us to jump in and tell them what to do. And that's not what they need always. So holding space for someone is a sacred act. Holding space honors the person who's telling you and sharing with you and trusting you with their story. So that being said, I wanted to bring that forward because I had a lot of different responses to the two live videos that I created Saturday and Sunday. And I realized that some people have a handle on that and can hold space. And those who can't, I understand that as well. But it really helps when someone shares their heart, their soul, their pain, for us not to go into the I'm feeling sorry for you mode. Because people do not need sympathy. People do not need that at all. What they need is to be able to share and to know that it's a trusting, loving space where they're sharing. So as we share our own stories, I think it's important to remember that too, that not everyone understands how to hold space, that their intentions might be good. And if we're sharing and we need something different than what's being offered, we can say that. We can say, I don't want advice. I don't need sympathy. What I really want is just for you to witness what I'm talking about. I just appreciate that I can share that with you. And if someone is sharing something vulnerable with us, we can sit with them. We can help them know that it's a safe place to share that. And in sharing our experiences, this is how we make connections. This is how we heal. Just getting it out, just working through things, having someone, knowing that someone is just by our side while we're doing it, but letting us do it, that's how we make those strong connections. And that's how we get up from our experiences and say, I can heal from this, or I have healed from this. I'm just sharing what I'm feeling. So that's what holding space is. It's a hard thing to define, and it's an even harder thing to live. But when we learn to hold space for one another, that's where the miracles happen. That's where the joy comes from. And that's where everyone begins to just sigh in relief and know that humanness is what we're all going through. It's not an inside job only, it's something that we can relate to with one another. So I just wanted to talk about holding space. Thanks, Rihanna, for watching. And just wanted to share with you that I have a great moment. I've turned in my coach training program to the International Coaching Federation, and it's in the process of being evaluated. And very soon, I'm hoping to have that stamp of approval so that my program is accredited. And just wanted to share with you that I do have a book, Coaching Wisdom, Weaving Wisdom into Your Coaching Practice. This is more about the cards that I created. These are cards that have powerful questions on them that we use in coaching. And my coach training program really goes deeply into how we hold space for one another, how we create trust, how we create coaching presence. So I'm really excited for the next class to begin. It's starting next fall, and I have one participant already who has signed up and can't wait to start. And I'm getting excited to be able to teach this course again. So thanks for watching. Have a wonderful Tuesday.